DxO PhotoLab 8's latest version of DeepPRIME, called XD2s, is remarkable, and the enhanced lens softness tool is now better than ever. The new Loop tool lets you preview even bigger and faster exactly what those corrections are going to look like on the exported image. Let's have a look. For these first few images, I've already exported the JPEGs so we can compare the original to the denoised version full screen. We'll start with this one here, and I'll zoom in to 100%. I want you to pay special attention to the back of her shirt and her dress. This is the original version, but now let's compare it to the denoised export. As you can see, not only is it remarkably better, but details that didn't even appear to exist have now revealed themselves. Look at the wrinkle on the back of her shirt. This is the after, and this is the before. You can barely see the wrinkles there. Look at the herringbone pattern on her skirt. Here you can see that pattern clearly, but without the noise reduction, it's just a big mush. Next, let's take a look at the photo of the rugby player. For this, I'm going to zoom into 200%. Here I want you to pay special attention to the noise under his arm and on his shirt and the details on his face. As I compare back and forth, we'll see an amazing amount of noise removal as well as details that have been preserved and even enhanced on his face. Finally, let's go to this photo of the eagle. This is not a high ISO photo, but noise doesn't just show up in high ISO photos, it even shows up in the shadows. As we compare this, look at the underside of the eagle's wings and how much clarity there is in the exported version. I'll enable the split view so we can easily see side by side the difference that makes. Now let's go ahead to the leopard photo and have a look at how this works. Under the Detail tab, you'll find the DxO Denoising Technologies option. And there's 4 different denoising algorithms that you can choose from. High quality is the default, and that looks pretty good. If I zoom into 100%, you can see that this looks quite good. And if I compare it to the original image, you can see that a lot of noise has been taken out. But we can do better. I'm going to switch this over to the new advanced DeepPRIME XD2s option. Now, if you're previously familiar with DeepPRIME, you'll know that there used to be a preview window on the bottom of this window to preview what the image would look like. Now there's a better way to preview the image, and that's using the loop. When I enable the loop, I can preview any part of my image at 100% by simply dragging this little window around, and as soon as I stop dragging it around, you'll see that it updates with the new DeepPRIME noise reduction. If I want to see this bigger, I can click on this little icon here, and if I want to zoom in even closer, I can do that from this dropdown. Take a look at the noise reduction in the background and the clarity of the hair that has been maintained, and even the cat's whiskers. It looks absolutely phenomenal. Finally, let's look at the enhanced lens softness compensation tool. This is a drone photo, and it's pretty good, but it definitely could be sharper. Look at the lack of detail in the pier here. You can see the slats of wood, and they're just kind of all mushing together. But if I turn on lens softness compensation, you'll see that a lot of detail is restored. Let's go ahead and look at this one at 200%. And if you decide that the compensation is too strong, you can dial that down a little bit as well.